So the very first thing we'll be doing will be the pocket. So for an adult, you can see we'll be cutting a 14 by 14 inches, a 14 by 14 inches. So just measure your 7 because the cloth is cut in doubled, is folded in doubled already. So you're going to cut your 7 by 14. You can see what I'm doing. This is mainly for an adult from age 15 upward, let's say, because they're wearing a matured outfit now from age. So the pocket will be 14 by 14. And I'm going to cut two pockets because one for the left and one for the right side. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to cut the same thing. You can just follow me step by step to get exactly the same result. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place the fabric, the front will be facing the front. I'm going to place it over each other just like that, and I'm going to make the pocket cuff at the edge of the fabric. You can see, just cuff it just like that. Very simple. You can see what I did. So here is our pocket. We're going to actually build it before we join into the trouser. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a notch at the edge of the pocket. So from the top here, from that top right here to 8 inch, I'm going to make a notch at 8 inch. I'm going to make a notch at 8 inch. So just cut a piece there. That's just to mark where our stitches is going to start and close for. You can see that. So the next thing we are going to do now is to couple it to our trouser. So let's go to the sewing machine and do that fast. So right here we have our trouser. If you haven't seen the video of the how to cut the trouser, it will be in the description below. Also, you can check my video galleries. I have it on how to cut a shokoto. It is part of the video, both the cutting and the sewing. So this is our pocket that we cut recently. The next thing we are going to do is to stitch it together before we attach it to our trouser. So from that notch in which we make before, you can see that particular part, we are going to stitch it round from that notch down to the cuff side of the pocket. So just place your machine just like that. You can see. All right, just make your stitch. You can see, just make your stitch just like that. Very simple. So after you actually sew it like that, just round, all you're going to do now is just to turn it over. Don't forget, I'm actually sewing at the right side of the fabric. You can see this is the wrong side that I turned over, because the wrong side has to be in the wrong side of the fabric of the trouser itself. So I'm going to stitch that edges in order to hold it right now. I'm going to top stitch it. Just top stitch the edge. Very simple. Also follow me on Instagram. Okay, so just do that. Very simple. Let me zoom in so that you can see what I'm doing. You're going to stitch that edge. Very simple. And you're going to stop at that particular notch in which we make before. I believe you're seeing what I'm doing clearly. That's why I zoom in, so that you can get exactly the same result if you follow me step by step. You can see that. Remember to subscribe as well if you are not yet subscribed. I believe most, like 70% of people watching my video are yet to subscribe, so make sure you subscribe. So let me zoom backwards so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So you're going to do the same thing in both your pockets. So now you're going to take your trouser. If you haven't seen the video of the trouser, I'll put a link in the description below. You're going to take one back of your trouser and one front. So I'll be stitching from the leg side, which is the M side, and I'm going to stitch it straight, just straight like that. So pay attention to what I'm doing here. This is the main part of the pocket side, so you have to watch closely. So just sew it straight. This is my trouser. So from that particular side, from the top of the trouser, that is the waist side, I'm going to measure 11.5 inch. You can see I measure 11.5 inch, and I'm going to stop my stitch at that 11.5 inch. If you don't know how to do this, first, when you're cutting your trouser, you can actually make a notch at that 11.5 inch. Okay, so I'm going to make a notch now. So, but for you, you can easily just make a notch before you start sewing. That would be easier for you. Sorry, I did not follow that process here. That's because I know I'm going to take 11.5. So the next thing we are going to do now is to fix our pocket to that particular side. You can see that. So just turn in your, just open it up the same way I open it, so that you can see your front side and you can see your back side. So right there I have my front, you can see. So pay attention to what I'm doing right now. You're going to open your pocket into two, and you're going to make sure the notch, that your notch side of the pocket is facing the notch side of this pocket as well. You can see how I did that. It's very simple. Just open it up and place the upper part on the lower part. Are you getting that? So you're going to stitch that up. Make sure your hand is straight. You see what I just did now? So when you turn the pocket, you see our pocket is almost ready. So the next thing you're going to do is to hold your back side, which is the bodice itself, which is the trouser. You're going to face it with the other pocket side. You see that? And you are going to stitch that together as well. It's not a magic actually. It's very simple though. So just follow that and just stitch it down straight. Make sure your hand is straight as well. It's very important. See what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? It's very simple. Just stitch that. See? So now when you turn in your pocket, our pocket is ready as ready. You can see that this is what we have. It's not a magic. So don't forget, your pocket has to go to the side of the front, so it has to be like that, which is the shorter part of the bodice. You see, the big one is the one at the back and the small one is the one in the front, which is the front panel. So that's how your pocket should look like. You see what I have here? So all you have to do is just to give it a good ironing. Make sure it's balanced before you stitch the front. You see that? So let me just do the ironing now so that you see the results. Bam! You see that? Right there, I already iron it and I make sure it's balanced. So our pocket is almost ready. So the next thing you're going to do now is to make your pocket stitch. So hold it like that, and you're going to stitch it from that notch side. You're going to make a very straight line, because that will be the part that people will be seeing. So your hand has to be very, very straight. Make sure your hand is very, very straight. So you're going to make a straight stitch at that point. Okay, you see what I'm doing? See what I'm doing? However, if your stitch is not straight, it does not matter. I'm just saying, because you might be like, you're just getting started. So you see what we have? After I make that straight stitch, you see what we have? Very, very, very simple. See, that's how smooth the stitch has to be. So our pocket is almost ready. The next thing you're going to do now is to make a stitch at that part in order to hold the pocket down at that notch aspect. Just make a very simple stitch. All right, just like that. You see what I just did? So after you make that your stitch, from that particular stitch, you're going to measure your arm hole, like your not arm hole, your like pocket hole. If you're sewing for an adult, it's mostly 7 inch. Don't forget, it's mostly 7 inches. Sorry, I said inches. So you're going to measure your 7 inches right there. You can see that, and make sure the pocket overlap the back panel. Don't forget that. So you're going to measure your 7 inches, and you're going to stitch that part. But you have to pay attention to something right here. After you stitch that part, you need to like sew it over the top part of the I'm just going to show you right here. Let me pass this thread, sorry. Okay, so you're going to stitch this part. Just make a stitch right here. Just lock that part up. After you lock that part up, just like that, you're going to stitch the other side, and you're going to stitch it to the back panel so that it's going to hold it down. You see what I'm doing? As simple as A, B, and C. So here is our pocket. So far so good. This is how far we've come. You can see that. Very simple though, right? I believe it's very simple. You have gotten to this stage. This is what the pocket look like. You can see. So all you have to do is just to turn it over. So if you haven't seen that video, the complete video of how to copulate and add your elastic is part of the video gallery. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like and make sure you give it a subscribe if you're yet to subscribe. 90% of my my viewers come from unsubscribers, so make sure you subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.